Okay, so in the month of January, I saw Glass, I saw a Keanu Reeves movie, I saw a horror movie, and this is the best movie I've seen in January? Well, let's get the name out the way. The Kid Who Would Be King.
It's good to be king, just for a while.
Directed by Joe Cornish. This is the joint venture between a US company and a British company. And it's the story of a young person named Alex who one day, while getting bullied, finds a sword in an abandoned building, or a torn down building, happens to pull it out, and it happens to be Excalibur. He is then met by a wizard by the name of Merlin, who tells him, you need to stop the main bad guy because she's coming and you got 4 days to prepare. Along the way, you have to gather your Knights of the Round Table, train, follow the sacred code of King Arthur, and you have to defeat them. And this is a family kids movie that I was shocked at how good it was. This movie is it's the type of kid movie that doesn't get made anymore. I feel like I've been saying that a lot lately. Or this feels like a throwback to the 80s movies. Because you have this person played by Louis Serkis, who, if you didn't know who that was, that's Andy Serkis' son. And he's giving this performance like very straight-laced. This is very English-like. And the movie's very streamlined. You do have moments where people are giving exposition, but it's always to further either teach him something or teach characters what's going on and why. But it never feels extraneous. I don't feel like I'm sitting there going, can we please move on to something else? The characters have interesting motivations. You have two bullies in this movie who, first of all, one of them happens to be a black girl, and you have this white guy. We're never told in the movie why they're together, but we do know that they just bully together. And one day they're bullying Alex's friend, and he decides to stick up for him. And along the way, Alex learns real leadership. There aren't scenes where we get everyone's explanation of who they are. We get a little bit of who Alex is and what he's doing, but all of it is pertinent to the story, and all of it drives the story. I liked Alex's relationship with his mom, especially where this movie takes it. This movie takes it in not a trite way, like how some family movies do, especially a lot of them in the 90s, but this movie takes it to a very believable place. And it was in it just enough to make me like it, and not enough to make me say, well, that's a bit too much. Can you pull back? I enjoyed the two bullies. Once again, we didn't get exposition on why they're bullies. They just like picking on people, which is perfectly fine. Sometimes the stories are best told when I don't know everything about the character. You get who they are from the character. And I like that. There's also the character of Angus Imberg, or Ingern, who plays Merlin, and he is the highlight of this movie by far. He is so charismatic, he is so funny. Like, the scenes light up when he's on there. And he plays younger Merlin, and he's got these hand signals, and I like the way that the ridiculousness of how he casts spells, but no one in the movie tells you it's ridiculous. The audience just goes, that's ridiculous, but everyone in the movie takes it as 100% seriously. And I just love his lines, his delivery, everything. Any scene he's in is really good. The older Merlin, though, is played by Sir Patrick Stewart from everything. And he kind of looks like he did in Logan. So I'm pretty sure he shot this while he was doing the voice of the poop emoji in the Emoji Movie. And he's only in the movie for about 5 scenes, but anytime he's in it, some of the things he says is really powerful. There's this whole plot, there's a whole subplot in this movie about Alex wanting to find out. The whole thing that's driving the movie is not only does Alex have to find out how to kill the main bad guy, Morgana, but he also wants to get his dad, who we find out at the beginning of the movie, left him and his mom. The last memory he has or the last thing he has of his dad is a book that says, future king, dad. And there's a part where Patrick Stewart has to give a speech about, not necessarily about the book, but about history that I don't want to blow and I don't want to butcher. But when I heard it, it's all about this. To give it a quick synopsis, it's about how history is delivered, and that you have to understand, even when you're reading about history, you have to understand the source. That's all I'm going to say about it. And it was really profound. I'm like, it's coming from the kid who would be king. It was really, I was like spellbound when I heard it. And then coming from Patrick Stewart makes it even better. The CGI in this movie was surprisingly good. I believe this was made on a $59 million budget. And the CGI in it was really good. The demons look good. Hell looked good. Rebecca Ferguson plays Morgana, and she was fine. The only part that I had a problem with the CGI is when Morgana had to shapeshift. It didn't look good. It looked bad. But everything else looked good. Even the larger scenes where you had hundreds of demons hundreds of dead knights on horses gallivanting, it looks sharp. You can tell there are places where they cut corners, like you never saw Merlin. Merlin had this habit of whenever he sneezed, he would either turn into his younger self, his older self, or an owl. And as much as possible, they didn't show it. Every time he sneezed, the camera would cut away and you'd come back to see what form he took. So there was cost-cutting measures there. The only bad thing I would have to say about the movie is at 2 hours, it did feel a little bit long for a children's family movie. Like I said, the CGI, only on Morgana when she transformed, looked bad. There's a part where they almost faked out doing an ending, and I think that could have been cut out to save you at least 10 minutes. I like the way it ended, and when you find the resolution to a lot of the things, especially about the book, that was really powerful stuff. I thought it was, yes, a bit corny at times, especially the last fight scene, but it is a family kids movie, and it was still enjoyable while being childish all at the same time. Yeah, I'm going to give The Kid Who Would Be King an 8. It's a really fun movie. It's a really funny family movie. And when was the last time you were able to say those things in any family movie these days? And it's also not really a genre that comes out a lot anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, I liked Andy Serkis' son. He's really good. I can't wait to see what he does as he moves on. That's my thoughts on The Kid Who Would Be King. Let me know if you're going to see this movie. I hope it does get more support. It is a really good movie. If you've seen it, let me know in the comments below. If you didn't see it, why didn't you want to see this? Let me know that. Like, subscribe, and until next time,